I keep a lot of roses and flowers that I've watercolored on hand. And so I used one of these. Behind it is a foam dot. And so I cut the paper. I used this for around the edge to get that cute little decorative edge. And then I took the ink pad and just went around the edge to age it out. And you can go put it on as heavy as you want. I kind of got it on the edge there, but I like it. It just makes it look like it's been in the attic for a while. And then I used a stamp and stamped "You're Loved" on Isaiah 41:10. Now on the back, am I going too fast? So watercolor roses, which I'm going to show you, hymnal page, a stamp, and a foam dot. That's foam dot. You can find those at dollar store, any craft store. And then on the back, I think I'm going to do some layering back here too. And I should have done this before I snipped the corners, but I was thinking about writing on the back, but I want to see more layers. And right now, I am going to use this cute little heart stamp and add a little more character right there. I don't like that edge, but it happened. You know, sometimes we're too hard on ourselves with Okay, so I'm going to layer this pink on the back with this. I think this stripe paper is really cute. And I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to use the Oohoo glue. Oohoo glue, I don't know if that's how you say it, but I love this glue. No, I'm not an affiliate, but maybe I should be because I love it so much. And I haven't found it in a store. I've only found it online. Yeah, I like that. So I find old ledgers when I go antiquing and thrift shop. I've never found them in thrift shops. They're getting few and far between. They're getting harder to find. So if you love old papers, I think this one's from 1905. Grab them if you're into the vintage layering. I love hymns and old Bibles and ledgers, handwritten letters. Oh, that's the best. Now I'm getting kind of messy here, so I'm going to trim that off. So I'm just giving you a quick rundown. I'll do another tutorial where I walk you through every step. I really like this bracket, and it's too wide. I don't really love it that way either, so I'm going to put it right there. I like that. Let's trim that off. Trim that off. So the other reason I wanted to show you this is these are for a community that someone said, let's mail each other Valentine's this year, old-fashioned snail mail. So I'm making, I don't know, a dozen or so of these to share. And it is so fascinating to meet other friends from around the country and get to know them and send them some snail mail. So I'm looking forward to that, and so I'm trying to get these fixed up. I'm going to trim that a bit. You do you. If you're a perfectionist, you can measure and cut everything just the way you want it. But I don't mind little flaws, because that's how we are in real life. That's who we are, and yet we're all still growing and going through a process of getting better. I want to outline that a little bit darker just to bring that out. In fact, I'm going to use a watercolor brush and use a blue gray. I made that word up, bluey gray. And I want to just bring that watercolor around there and see how that gave it some depth. So I like that. And I want to go around here too. And how about the heart? And you know, I think would be cute. Let's paint the inside of those hearts in a soft pink. Bring some more of that pink in. Gotta have pink and red, but really you do any color you love. That's cute. So on these roses, I'm using a small piece of paper. So I use a watercolor brush. For years I've just used anything, and lately I've been investing in real watercolor brushes I just think it makes a difference. So roses are so easy, and if you just start with a little C in the center, and we'll come back and darken this, and then another C this way, and don't let them touch, leave some white space. That took me longer than anything to leave that white space, because that is your white. A white watercolor is just not going to get the saturation and the depth of it. To me, it's kind of useless. Now, there's probably other watercolor artists that get it and know how to use white properly, but I usually come back with India ink or a Posca acrylic paints, Posca pen to add whites, but I'm trying more and more to leave the white on the paper. Let that be your white. Let that be your contrast. And you can see it coming together. This one I didn't use a lot of white, and but I had some here, you can see, and the edge. This one's a lot more pastel. I want to bring in some depth with more paint, not so dry, and I'm bringing in a lot more saturation, because that's where the darkness will be. Down in there, and then see, now I'm getting them all the same color, and I don't want that. So I'm going to pull that back off. You want the darkness in the middle, and I like that, how that you can see that petal now just edging up along there. It's dark there, light there. So let's soften this one. Water, blot, soften this one. Okay, now you're starting to see the dimension, the 3-dimension or more. And see how the water, I love how the water just picked up right there, and it's doing its own thing. I tell girls in the class that we're afraid of watercolor because it does its own thing right there, and we want to control. But we have to learn to let it go, let it do its own thing. I'm liking the proportion already, so I think I'm going to stop. And I want to get a green leaf on there, so let's get some green. I'm using a round brush again, dipping it in some green, and adding a little bit of gray to it, so it's not so vivid and bright. A little more green, and that just warmed it up. Now, let me show you a brush I'm loving for leaves. I like this angle brush. And so I'll put that in there, and you can let that point just do the work for you. It needs to be a little more wet. That's easy. Put a little one there. That doesn't bother me that that green went in there. Think about it as the light off the greens are reflecting up on the rose. If it bothers you, all you have to do is take a paper towel and blot at it. And look at that texture. The texture from the paper is showing through. So I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then I will come back and ink. You can see the ink around it. Now, I know there's different styles on that too. If you like just to let the watercolor be the dark and light, but I like the ink around it. I'm going to put a little more pink on the hearts to brighten them up, a little bit more saturated. I'm mixing pink and red. So the drier your paint is, the more dark and saturated the color will be. The wetter it washes it out, think about it that way, and it lightens your color. Isn't that pretty? Gave it a little pop. If that bugs you to not have the perfect shape, then go in and straighten it out. Okay, here's the Posca pen, and I keep these in white and black. I keep them around all the time. And when you first open them, you just shake them a little bit, and that gets going, and then you pump it. That gets the color up in the tip, and these are acrylics. So, I mean, they are so wonderful and simple to add your highlights, bring some dimension. I think I'm going to add a little highlight, just a little bit on this leaf. Isn't that fun? I'm going to put some scallops around my little card here. You are loved. I had a dear friend that was her motto, and she said that to everyone, that you are loved. I'm really happy. I just have the thought that I think I'm going to add glitter, and so I'll put that in the next part of the video. So let's look back at this rose that I did. It's already dry. I used a heat gun, and so I just use micron 135, depending on how fine you want your lines. You can use a Sharpie, but they're a little thicker, but I do work with Sharpies a lot too. You can see the difference in the thickness of that, and this 3, not too bad. And then this is a 1. They all look pretty good because of different because of the pressure. So that's a 1. So down in here, I'm using it for these little tiny fine details. And see how the watercolor kind of did its own thing there? Well, I'm just following that pattern. I'm following the lead of that watercolor to create that petal. This one right here, I love how it moved on its own, and yet it works right into your design. See how it's darker right there? That's a petal. There's another petal. Look at that one. And you are seeing a rose come before your very own eyes. I have a lunch date, so I'm going to head that way. When I get back, I will play with some glitter and show you again how I do this layout. And maybe look at the back. Okay, I'm back. Here's a lot of the supplies that I used for this project. Some watercolor brushes, the Pigment Micron in 03 and a 1, and a corner punch, a stamp pad, Uhu glue, watercolors, some cardstock, hymnal paper, a watercolor that I painted and cut out. This is the one I did earlier. And foam dots, which are little foam round circles that you put underneath your art to give it dimension. It makes it pop back up. So I am finishing these up. I thought it would be cute to have some gold glitter. And I'm using a scruffy brush, one that's, not real stiff. And I just dipped it in there, and I'm just randomly putting the glitter. I like glitter glue, but I think this day when I went in, they didn't have what I wanted. I like this clear because I just do. I like silver and gold, but this is Folk Art Glitter Acrylic Paint. So it was kind of fun to find it. I'm going to put some right over the hearts and around the edge of You Are Loved. And that kind of just gave it a final flair, and I'm debating about putting it over the rose. I think I'm going to. I think I just want another whole dimension. Isn't that fun? It just brightened it up and highlighted it. You don't need a lot. And then make sure you put your brush in water because you don't want your brush to get more scruffy. So that is it. All those things, you don't have to use any of them. Everything I did here, I had on hand. And back, I will sign it. You could write a sweet message. And this one will fit in the 4x6 envelopes, I believe. You can cut them any size you want. You can use the regular business envelope that you have around the house. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a lot. Have fun with it. And lay out a bunch at a time, and you can knock them out in an hour. Yeah, I see you rolling your eyes. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. You can subscribe to my newsletter, Rhonda Elder Designs @gmail.com, and that will keep you in touch and with all the details for upcoming local classes in Texas or retreats. I'm having one in April of 24. So let me know if you would like to join us. We'd love to have you. Oh, and we are going to the Whatever Craft House, and we have an amazing teacher lined up, Danielle Stringer, and a cook for your evening meal. So let me know. Message me or email me, and we'll get you signed up. Thank you for watching.